Purpose Driven Life. I'm back with another episode. I've got absolutely awesome guest. Really, really, really pleased that he's joining me. And the reason that we're here is because I had a little tap on my shoulder, 2021, from my dad, aka God, asking me to speak to people about purpose, speaking to people about their journeys of how they became where they are. And I am here still almost 2 years later, and it's a blessing. I learned so much from doing this, and I just want to help other people to understand and discover their own purpose. So this is why I'm here. And our special guest, all my guests are special, but this young man is just so inspirational. It is so amazing when somebody who comes from where you come from is doing really, really great, big things and great things. And it's to encourage people to keep going, because I'm sure he'll tell us later about that you have to start where you are and you have to start from somewhere. And it's amazing to see the heights that he's got to. So I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Oh, that was a beautiful intro. Thank you. I'm very flattered. I'm Nicky Walker. People know me as Nicky Slimting Walker. And I'm a director, I'm a film producer, I'm a writer, I'm an entrepreneur.
Love it.
And a DJ as well. I started my career as a DJ.
That's what I remember.
Yeah.
I think I even came to some of them raves back in the day as well. So yeah, I just have to say thank you.
No,
firstly.
Thank you for having me.
Because, you know, you can reach out to people and they just go on like they're kind of untouchable. Oh no, you know, I'm busy, or speak to my PA, which you did, but she's love. I really like her.
Yeah. Like,
she's on it, kind of understood the vision as well, because not all PAs get it.
No, she's amazing, and I just think it's important to be grounded. You know, I feel like I saw it. I watched one of your episodes, I think, and then I was like, I recognize. I remember that from back in the day, and I just think, like, you know, everyone starts somewhere. And I want to support the movement, and we're going to make it happen. Like, it might not happen straight away, but we're definitely going to make it happen, and I'm here.
Love that. Thank you. It's appreciated. And I just want to do this because I think there's a young man who really wants to be a filmmaker, or he wants to write, or he wants to do something.
Yeah.
And although I've been doing this, there's something that you have, or there's gems, even in the conversation that we've been having before we started, that is going to really help him on his journey, you know? And I think maybe it's the words that you needed when you was kind of in the infancy of your own journey. So I always start the same way. I always use the same questions as well, because I feel like it's just a really good format to watch how a normal question can just go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it does. It's So, what does purpose mean to you?
Purpose to me means so many things. My personal purpose for me is just like, first of all, I'm grateful to God that I'm alive, I wake up. And if you're blessed enough to wake up and you're able to function and speak and see and walk and do things, I've got to have a purpose, because God's given me life. And even if you haven't got all those functions I said, there's still a purpose, because you're alive. And that's the first blessing, you know. And for me, in my career, like I said, I started off as a DJ. I had love for music. I always loved music as a child. Growing up, into Bobby Brown, MC Hammer, you know, Michael Jackson. All these childhood memories of these guys, these were my heroes, because we didn't really have any heroes here in the UK like that.
That's true.
Music-wise, that I knew of anyway, and I was always looking to them. I loved dancing and routines in my bedroom and at the house parties and at school. And for me, I wanted to be into entertainment. I wanted to be a dancer. I wanted to be maybe a singer or something. I just wanted to be on stage, because that's what I loved doing. And my parents at parties, they used to always encourage me, like when I used to dance and stuff. And for me, that was my journey. As a child, I just wanted to pursue that. And for me, as I grew up and I became a teenager, life, you start learning about life, you start becoming a young man, you start venturing out a little bit more from your estate. As we were speaking off camera, we both lived in the same estate, Skelters Lane, Bowman. It was a very community spirit estate. Everybody knew everybody. All the kids just went to the same park and would be there for hours, like hours on end. And we were just children being children and having fun. And as you grow older, people move and people go to different secondary schools and primary schools or wherever they're going. You start, your life journey starts, and you start developing as a woman or as a man. And for me, when I was in secondary school, my mum, she made me join a school called Sylvia Young Theatre School at the weekends. So I went to normal school Monday to Friday, and then Saturday mornings I had to go to Sylvia Young. I used to hate it because I couldn't play out. Saturday's the day of playing out. Everyone's in the park, and she used to get up, and her and my auntie used to get on the train, and we used to go to Marylebone, and I would spend the day doing drama, dance, tap, speech, English. It was like being at school again on Saturday, but for creative arts. And I did that for many years. And I had an agency. I was on a Sylvia Young Theatre agency, and they used to get me auditions. They used to phone my mum and say, "Oh yeah, we're going to put him in this advert." And I did a few adverts, Very Liquid advert.
Oh, wow.
I did all these things when I was young. My mum used to be running up and down with me, and I fell in love with acting because it was still a form of entertainment. It was close to dancing, and I liked doing that. And I became a extra in Grange Hill, had a few speaking lines here and there, and I was doing Grange Hill. I remember it was a big thing. I was in school, I got Grange Hill. The school was letting me off to go and do this. I had a chaperone and stuff, and it was really exciting. But in that era, I was missing out from being with my friends. So when you come back to the end, you've gone to Grange Hill, you come back, you feel like a stranger, because you're no longer with your friends, there's new friends. Like, I kept on feeling left out. So I was like, Mum, I don't want to really do this. And I started bunking, skipping my lessons. So I got to the age where I could go myself, but instead of going to my lessons, I'd go to the market and look at records and music. And I started loving music. And I kind of just fell out of it, and I just got to say, my mum was, well, you're not into this no more. There's no point me paying if you're not turning up to your classes and stuff. So she gave me that freedom, and I fell in love with music. I wanted to become a DJ and a producer, and I started throwing parties and stuff, and doing under 18s events and stuff. And I really, really loved that because it was the closest thing for me to being on stage, being an artist. But I was a DJ and I'm performing in front of hundreds of people that became thousands of people. And when you say purpose, I know I've gone on a little bit. When you say purpose, I feel like everyone's purpose has got to be something they love, that drives them, that gives them, that makes them happy, that puts them in that space where they're content. Because there's a lot of people who are doing things that is not their purpose. They're just doing it because they've got to pay bills. Yeah. They've got family, they've got responsibilities, and I understand that's the real world. There's responsibility. Not everybody can be doing everything they desire. But for me, because my mum went to church regular, it is a Christian house, I always knew about faith and speaking to God and getting guidance and stuff like that. And as I became a teenager, and I was DJing and I was doing all of these things, it was successful for a certain amount of time. But as I grew older and real life responsibilities coming now, I'm in my 20s, and you got to pay bills and your mum's asking you for money and you got all these other things coming into your life. You start questioning what you're doing, because I wasn't making enough money to sustain paying bills, having a life, then becoming a young father, and all of these things are happening. You start questioning, is this my purpose? Because I'm not happy, I'm not making any money, and it's bringing more stress than it's actually bringing happiness. So my mom, one day, I was just a bit lost in life, in like what I should be doing. My mum's like, why don't you come to church? And I went to church. I was thinking, church? You know, like your mum goes to church. I just thought, why not? I went to church, and I was very surprised when I got to the church, what church was like and what my perception of what I thought church was going to be like. And there was a thing, they had a men's group in the church where men could go and they could speak, and there was young men, older men, like it was very diverse. Asian people, black people, white people. But one thing they all had in common was a faith. I was like, I like a bit like this. There's something going on here. And I went back week after week after week after week. And I was just soaking God's word in, like, without even knowing. I was learning about the Bible that I didn't really know about. I was learning about faith. I was learning about so many different things. And I was around other men who had been through life, who understood life more than me. Yeah. And so I was able to speak to them. And I had a pastor who kind of, he guided me through. It was like, you're talented, you got this, you got that, you got this, but you need to live like this, you need to think like this, and I started learning about the spiritual world and God and belief, and it changed my whole perspective on how I looked, how I approached my personal life and how I approached whatever I wanted to do. I involved God in it because I was doing everything by myself. Yeah. I was never like asking God, is this the move? Should I do this? Praying on this. I remember, like, I used to tell them, like, I want to do this, I want to do that. It's like, pray, write it down, ask God. And like, I don't hear from God. He doesn't speak to me. You know, like everyone says, like, I was like, where's this voice? Never heard the voice. But what was happening as I was praying, God was leading me, and I was meeting people that I would never have met. Like, I just know it was God. It sounds like some people be like, oh, what's he talking about? No, I knew that where I was and to where I got to now, like, people would say to me, like, oh, you're doing so well, like, you've achieved so much. But I'm like, it's only God that could have got me here, because I knew when I had nothing. And I knew, like, in my darkest moments when I was alone, and the prayers I prayed, the books I read, the sermons I listened to, just the journey that, like, was crazy, like, to get to where I am now as a filmmaker. So when you ask the question about what's purpose to me, purpose is something that not everyone's going to find straight away. There's not a one answer. Yeah. Because what you may think your calling was, I wanted to be a superstar DJ. I don't DJ. I only DJ now for fun. It's not something I'm trying to do. Then I went from being a DJ to a promoter, from a promoter to being lost, not knowing what I'm going to do, for God to pull me out of that and say, listen, I want you to tell stories. I want you to shoot films. I want you to do content. You're creative. I want to place you here. And for now, he's placed me here. It might change. Like, he might turn around and say, listen, I don't want you to do that. And sometimes I'm afraid of that, because it's scary when you want something so much, but it's not your purpose.
Oh, that's so deep. You said so many things. So many things. I asked one question and we got this.
Sorry, I can talk. No. It's like therapy a little bit.
Not in a negative way, but this is why I asked the same question. Because sometimes I like people to see that I can ask the same question to all of my, I think, 50 plus people that I've had these questions with. And you get, every answer is different. Yeah. And I think it's a blessing to hear. One, it resonated because I definitely have felt lost. Yeah. Two, God is definitely the person who's my GPS, my kind of sat nav, my everything. Like,
has to be.
Because sometimes we think we know what we're doing.
We don't.
We ain't got a clue. And do you know what? The thing that I struggle with the most on my journey, my walk with God, is the not knowing and the uncertainty. Yeah. I say reformed. I can hear my husband laughing. control freak. Like I like
Yeah.
being in
You
control. I'm quite a structured and organized person.
Yeah.
But then God will come and say like things like this, do this thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
This ain't got nothing to do. I don't even like being on the camera.
Yeah.
Like it makes me feel quite uncomfortable. Well,
Yeah.
it used to.
But he's building you up.
Do you see what I mean? And it's like, I don't even know. I say this all the time. I did this on my sofa for like a year and a half. And every time I do it, I say, I don't know where God's taking this. I look at YouTube and I think those YouTube, sorry for the people that do the YouTube thing, it just feels so fake to me.
Yeah.
Oh, hi guys.
Yeah.
That kind of.
Because a lot of people are just doing things because it's the trend.
Yeah.
And they're jumping on bandwagons and everybody's trying to fit in. And there's a billion podcasts now. But only the real ones will separate from everybody else who's being original to themselves.
Yeah.
You know, and I get it. Like you want to do things because other people inspire you and there's nothing wrong with that. But you just have to like really figure out what is working for you.
Yeah.
Because you know one thing, a lot of people always like, oh, you should never quit on something. You can quit on something if it's not working.
Yes, I agree.
Like sometimes when something's really not working and you've tried 100 times and it just never connects.
Yep.
God doesn't want you to do that.
I agree implicitly.
Like when you're
Seriously.
literally like just doing it and you're praying and you're not getting the breakthrough. Sometimes you have to question, is this what I'm meant to be doing?
And I think that is the thing that you have to keep asking yourself, because breakthrough don't come quickly.
No.
You do have to put in, I was saying today, I just put a post on Instagram. Today is 20 years that I've been working in the criminal justice system. So apart from doing this, I've been a probation officer.
Yeah.
Since I was in my early 20s.
And that's a serious job.
I was one when I started, because it was 20 years ago. So I'm 21 now.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. But I've been, and I said the video was like, I never chose that thing.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody says, I know I'm going to be a probation officer, because it isn't a career. It's not glamorous. The pay ain't great.
But I bet you've made a massive difference to so many people's lives.
I'd like to, do you know what? Yeah, I would definitely say I have. I think that there's a part of me from before that would have said, oh, maybe I hope I have. But you know what? I know I have.
Yeah.
I know.
And that's important.
Definitely. And I think, how would I say that? It's a blessing to, this is what I do. Like, I know this sounds funny, but this is kind of like what probation is like.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, the sessions that I used to deliver with people, because they're just, to me, they're ordinary people who've just got into the criminal justice
you're trying to help them.
That's to move to the next
level. You're trying to help them find their purpose.
Basically.
And their purpose is not to be in jail.
No, it definitely isn't.
So
no. But a lot of people find their purpose in jail.
Yeah.
Because it's that, for me, purpose came definitely through having a relationship with God. It's also the stillness.
Yeah. And your purpose can come out of the most painful situation.
That is definitely.
It's like when you're like on your knees begging, crying, and you're just like, what is going on here? Something happens.
That I agree.
You know?
I agree.
It's not, and this is the thing, it's not an easy road. And some people's purpose may be easy. Like everyone's journey is so different. Like people like ask me like, what's the blueprint? I'm like, my blueprint is designed for me.
Yes.
I can help guide you. I can give you advice. I could say this, but honestly, God designed every single one of us different. Every hair, every part of our bodies is different. And I don't think it's just a one fix all for everybody. I think God takes everybody through individual journeys themselves, but you got to be willing to be open to it.
That is so vital.
Like, you can't like, I have these debates with people all the time. They're like, people are like, oh, why you believe in God? Some people don't believe in God, but I'm like, have you ever asked God for anything though? You're saying you don't believe in him, but have you asked? Like if you're not asking for stuff, and you're not and there's a difference of asking and not doing anything. It's not a magic wand. It doesn't like, oh God, can I have this? And and then all of a sudden, it's not. There's a process
Yes.
of God directing you and showing you how to get what you want and how and what steps you should take. And I drop in and out of it. Like people might watch this and think, bro, but I saw you partying yesterday, and yeah, I do all of that.
I don't think there's anything wrong with partying.
Yeah, like I do. I'm a human being. I'm not like, could I be doing things much better? Yes. I'm learning every day. I don't even fully know my purpose. I'm on the road of it, hopefully. I know I'm on the road, but it can change at any time. Because God can decide, okay, I brought you here, I want to take you here now.
And that is it's like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And I don't really like roller coasters, honestly.
I love roller coasters. I do, because I feel like if everything's just like that, straight, and there's no,
I don't mind the life roller coaster, but I mean the literal roller coaster.
I loved it.
I used to like them. When I became a mum,
you're out.
I don't know what, and I know there's other women that I've spoken to that said the same thing to me. But I even remember going to Alton Towers, queuing up for about 3.5 hours. It was hot that day. Me and my best friend's daughter, we queued up, and they put the thing, like when
and you wanted to get off.
Listen to me. When the man started to pull this thing, my heart started to beat and then I thought, why am I doing this?
But maybe you're a mum, and now you've got responsibilities.
Maybe that's what
so
it
the
is.
fear in you,
It's
like if anything
different.
happens to me, I can't be playing these games no more.
I don't know, but I got off the thing. I didn't go on the roller coaster.
Go with your heart.
That's how I felt at that time.
Go with your heart always.
Now that if I was on the roller coaster with my children now, I think there's a part of me that would just have to show them that, I can do it.
Yeah, you can do it. You don't want to put
I would
that
be
fear in
screaming,
them.
definitely, though. But the roller coaster of life I'm all right. I'm up for it because God is directing. Like, he's driving that. I don't mind that. Have you got any friends that you drive with and think, make sure you're in the back and you put your seatbelt on? Do you know the ones?
You're scared. Like, you're like,
do you know what I mean? You're bashing the brake.
And they're like, chill. Yeah. I think people feel like that when they're in the car with me, though.
I just, when my dad's driving, and I say this because I call God dad, but when my biological dad is driving, I feel safe and secure. Like I can chill and relax,
Yeah.
And it's just the analogy of it as well. When God is leading me, I'm all right.
Yeah.
He ain't going to mess it up.
Yeah.
Like, he's never got it wrong.
And sometimes, like, for me personally, like, my life can be so fast. Sometimes God has to slow me down.
Yes.
Like, certain times things happen to me. I'm like, okay, God, I hear you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like...
So I thought you said you couldn't hear him.
No, I can. I've learned to hear him.
Good.
Because it's a process.
Yes.
How you think you're going to hear him is not how you hear him.
Oh.
It's not like a voice.
You're preaching now, Nicky.
It's not a voice that's like...
Like ours.
Yeah. It's literally things happen and like, I can see you.
Yeah.
Chill.
Yep.
I should have done that. Okay. You're warning me.
Yeah.
It's little warnings, isn't it? Like,
do you know what? It's so amazing that you're even describing it so clearly. And that is one of your gifts, isn't it? Being able to describe and to tell a story. So that is amazing. We're even on the first question. The second question is, what is your purpose? So at this point of where you are right now, what do you think your purpose is?
I think my purpose in my life right now is to tell stories from a diaspora, from people whose stories haven't been told, to embark in changing the industry that we're in, that ethnic minorities are not the power force, we're seen as the underdog, to tell Black films, to tell Black love stories, just, bring shine a light on a community of so many talented people in front of the camera, behind the camera. I love working in a team. I love employing other people who are from the same background as me. I love the challenge of achieving stuff, like, just having a dream and saying, you know what, we can do this if we come together. Like you said, you reached out to me. I was always going to come, because it doesn't matter if you had 10 people watching your podcast or millions. For me, it's about you've took that step to do something of your own back. And I've come in here and I'm super impressed. It's professional. It looks amazing. And I'm like, this is why I have to do things like this, because it's important that us as people stick together and we help each other.
Definitely.
You know, and we're not afraid to help each other. And when we get any form of success, always remember it's not us. It can be taken away from you at any second in any form of way. And when God gives you something, what do you do with that? Like, all right, Nicky, I've blessed you with all this. What did you do with that? Like, who did you help?
That is so true.
So my purpose is to help.
Good.
To help as much as I can, to encourage as much as I can, to advise as much as I can, to continue on my journey as much as I can, and uplift each other. Because my thing is just like, you need to uplift people and make people see that if I can do it, they can do it. But what I'm going to do on my journey is that when people ask me, how did I do it? I'll tell them God.
Good.
So if they're not into God,
that's important, you know.
They'll be like, oh, do you know what? I might be on this God thing. Because I want a bit of that. Like if
that is, do you know what? That is so powerful.
And that's just
so poignant, you know. And one of the things that I say, this thing that I'm doing here isn't about me. This, as I said to you, it wasn't something that I sat down and thought, oh, let me start up. No, that wasn't.
It was God put it on you.
He gives me these assignments, these crazy assignments, and then I just like, oh,
how are you gonna do that? Oh. You know, like it's like I'll have a creative idea, and I'll be like, I need to do this, I want to do that. Before I used to fear, like, how am I? But it's maybe it's even so dangerous that I just know it can be done if you channeling with God. If you and him have that business meeting,
and you, I love that.
and you talk and you chop it up with him, he'll find your way.
That's so true.
And that's how I approach everything. I know it's just like people are gonna be like, literally, I'm telling you the biggest secrets of what I do, like in anything I do. I pray, I write it down, and I work out a plan with God, how he's going to get me to that destination. And sometimes it's not the way I think I want it to be. Like, it's not like sometimes it's years. Like my first film took me like 2.5 years of trying to get it out, and came out and wasn't a success. Was literally done all the work, worked for 2.5 years, made about 9 grand in 2.5 years. Do the maths by the weeks or the months or the days, peanuts. And was so sad that it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Literally was broken into pieces. But through that whole journey, you know what God was doing? He was teaching me the skills that I needed to do the next film.
I need to just stop.
So it was crazy.
I need you to stop, because sometimes as I'm filming this, the person sitting there is the vessel. Right? So it's just, I just need to just like,
take it
because I really, it's so deep. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I've written 2 books. So the first one took me 10 years. So when you said 2 years, I was thinking, that's minor. Mine took 10 years. Right? And I sat in church and I remember feeling attacked by the pastor, like, because he'd say, oh, you know, you've got that thing that you started and God is saying that you need to finish it. And there'd be like, over the years, there was certain times that happened and I'd be like, why is this pastor like in my business? Do you know what I mean? So then I'd pick it up, put it down. And a lot of my thing was like self-doubt and just a lot of like insecurities and just not thinking I wasn't good enough.
But that's the voice of the enemy. That's never good.
This is the thing I know now, because I'm able to quash that voice really quickly now, because I know, I recognize.
But you learn that once you learn the spiritual warfare. Definitely. Once you understand, okay, that's not God. That can't be God.
Yes.
Because when you go back to your word and you know your word, It's like people always say this saying, and I never say it. I've learned not to say it. Life is short. I say life is long with God. Because God said he come to give me abundant life and long life.
Yep.
So if I'm saying life's short, I'm cutting all what God's told me.
Yeah, because there's power in your tongue. Definitely.
Exactly.
Definitely.
So I try not to say any of those things that contradict what I want for my life.
That is amazing.
So I've learned, even when I'm vexed, I try to not say things. Like I try to look for the blessing in the worst situation, and I've had some bad ones, but I've always tried to be like, do you know what? Just don't say that.
Do you know what? It's true. But when you were saying that, you know, it did that 2.5 years, it only made this, did it? And I'm just like, there's so many points in my life where I get to that. I've completed the assignment, God, right? And the other thing is that all of these assignments are being given to me while I'm working. Do you see what I mean? So I'm still, this is, the consistent thing has been the probation thing for all this time. Then he's giving me all these other little side things. Plus I've got 3 kids. Do you know what I mean?
So you're in so many modes.
There's so many modes, so many levels to it. Wrote another book. And it's like, I get my little email from Amazon sometimes with the little, and then I feel like that's the little reminder to keep going. Right. Of course. Okay. And then my gran is she's the one how I know who God is really. Yeah. She's from really young, always spoke so lovingly about God and how amazing he was. And when my granddad passed away in 2020, went to Florida to bury him, and I was just lying like I always do with my gran, just on her bed. And then she said, it's randomly, you know the bestseller, you know, the one that's going to really, really be the one that's going to blow, not in, obviously she didn't say that word, but it's the one where you write about God. Yeah. That's what she said to me in 2020. And I was like, okay, Gran. You know, I put that in my back pocket. Yeah. I don't write just for the sake of writing. It's always an assign. It's always him saying, right, I want you to write about this thing. Do this. I tell stories too, but just in a different way. Yeah. So I actually started writing a book about faith. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, not because I'm thinking about what my gran said, but just because I'm being obedient. And that's what I hear from you as well. Yeah. It's the obedience.
I think we definitely have to try and be obedient, and sometimes the reward. So people always say to me, we as human beings think success. We look at success as financial things. Mm-hmm. So they're making a lot of money, they drive a nice car, they have nice clothes. That's what success looks to most human beings. Yeah. But sometimes the success is just you learning how to do something. It's as simple as that. like you setting up this podcast, knowing how to do these cameras, not having to pay someone a stupid amount of money or 10 other people to do the job that God's just taught you how to do it with 2 people. Yeah.
This is my disclaimer. Listen, this stuff, the cameras, that ain't my thing. You know what? The other thing I've learned is
delegating the people to do what they're meant to be doing. Yeah,
because the talents of
course,
Myriad Studios is amazing. That's their gift. Yeah. It ain't mine. Yeah, mine is just to do this. No, 100%. Mine is to have these conversations. You know, I've worked with so many people over the years who don't want to talk. Yeah. They come to probation. They don't want to talk to me. Yeah. But by the time they leave, after doing whatever, 12 months, 2 years, whatever it is.
They're spilling out everything.
Do you know what I'm saying? I know their whole life story. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? So my gift is probably the ability to just make people feel comfortable. Yeah. And to know that I'm not judging you. Like, I'm not perfect.
No, none of us are.
But I also give them that thing of like, this is how this is my blueprint, is God. Yeah. That's how I'm doing this.
I think it's important, man. I think it's good to believe in something. Mm. You know, I don't like to push my beliefs on anyone, but whatever you believe in, make sure it's the right thing you're believing in, and make sure that it's guiding you in the right way. And even when I'm not doing the things I know I should be doing, sometimes it's a check. Because when you know something, it's better to know something than not know about something.
It's a different G check.
Yeah, it's a different G check.
It's a different...
and it's I'd rather bet everything on that there is a God. I know there's a God because I've seen it in my personal life, even in other personal matters that I haven't spoken about there. And God's got me through that and guided me through that and brought me back from that. But if you're skeptical about it, my advice to you, you're better off betting on him than against him.
That's good. I don't really do betting, but
you know what I mean?
I hear what you're saying. That is not something that I would take like
you don't
the
play
odds
with.
of that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's my
Definitely.
point.
This is tried and tested for me.
Exactly.
This works. Faith works.
Yeah.
I would not be who I am. Like, I was literally reflecting on 20 years. 20 years is a long time, you know.
20 years, and it's a blessing.
If I tell you the things or it's the way that I have grown in these 20 years, not about who I've blessed or who I've helped.
Just you,
the
personally.
way that I have grown and the relationship and the way that I've got to know God in these 20 years, I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
I wouldn't even be able to have this conversation with you 10, 12 years ago because I would have been open enough I would have understood it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have even had the knowledge. And every day we're learning. Every day I'm soaking up things. Every day I'm listening to different things, you know. And it's just important to be around like-minded people. And who you surround yourself with is so important. Like people, purpose, what's your purpose? But who are you around?
Yeah. Because their purposes align with yours.
Exactly.
Because that, to me... that is like...
That's important.
You know, I have this conversation. I don't have a lot of friends. I know a lot of people.
Yeah.
But the people that are close to me, that I let into that kind of intimate space of me...
It's important.
It's very few.
It's like my business partner, we run our business together and we co-direct and do majority of the things together. Femi, he's like into Christianity as well. Like he believes in God, his family. And I feel like God aligns me with him.
Of course, definitely.
You know, like people always, they're like, how does your thing work? And I'm just like, do you know what? Like he has the same values as me. He believes in the same things as me. Like we believe in the same mantra. Like we're reading from the same script. If we didn't, there'll be conflict.
It's the same as who you marry.
Yeah, it's like
business is it's a covenant. It's an agreement.
Yeah, definitely.
It's it's the same way. Well, some people get married and they don't think or don't pray about it.
Yeah.
But for me, I think about, you know, I'm married to somebody, and our purposes align.
I have to align.
You know, there's things he's good at some things, and I'm not good at that.
Yeah.
Thing. Do you know what I mean? So it's almost like
you balance each other out, and it's like friendships as well. It's like people, you outgrow people. Oh. You know, that's like one of the toughest journeys that I feel like I'm on at the moment in life. You know, just how I think and what I'm trying to do, and these are people that I really love and care for. But it's just like I can see the drifting away from my friends or my family or whoever, because we just think different and our beliefs are different and how we look at life is different and how we approach life is different. And that's a tough journey.
It's okay though, you know.
It is okay, but it's a tough one.
Listen, you're talking on things that you don't even know how it's relating to things in my life. But you know, the difference is where I used to, like, I hold on to things, like, especially too long. With, you know, like with friendships. Oh, but we've known each other for this long. When God is doing that, I let him do it. As I said, I know he ain't going to get it wrong.
Yeah.
And he sees them when I can't see them.
Yeah.
He hears them when I can't hear them talking.
Yeah.
So if he chooses to remove those people, I'm just like, you know what?
Yeah. No, definitely.
And remember, whatever he takes away, what does he give you? How many fold does it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? 10 folds.
10 folds.
So can you imagine?
Yeah.
The kind of new people that are going to be in your life.
Definitely. And I'm really open. I've met new friends. I've got friends that and work colleagues that I've known for 3 years or 5 years or 2 years or a year, and it feels like I've known them all my life.
Definitely.
Like the relationship and the way you are, you'd be like, well, I swear my man only met them last year.
You know what?
But do you know what it is? The connection, the bond is the bond.
Yeah.
And how we connect spiritually and get on is just sometimes undeniable.
Yeah.
And I think that's important, you know, and even speaking to you is something that it's been on my mind. It's just the circle changes, you know. And sometimes people will think, because you're successful, you change your... You know what? It's literally got nothing to do with that.
And people, listen, the people that don't get it, I ain't even trying to explain it to them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I love my own company.
Yeah, I'm like that as well.
Like, seriously.
Cool. I'm cool with that as well.
I'm like, today
You don't see me with a lot of people. You don't see me with a lot of people.
I'm good, you know. Like, I actually enjoy spending time with myself.
Yeah.
And I don't have to be doing anything. I could sit, I was actually at home just writing.
Yeah.
Just being.
You're in your space.
I was in my space. There wasn't even, normally I have a little music, but I didn't even have no music. I was just being like, and I love that because it's in that stillness that I feel like God is always, and do you know what? He really was saying, this one's going to be different. And it's not because, and I don't look at success like how other people look at success.
Yeah.
I look at success in, we knew each other at a certain point in our life, then we went away from each other. And at this point of our life, there's been this kind of like, what are you doing, Dad? Like, why is it? And I didn't even know this about you, like that you've been on this journey, and like, it's just
because these are things that I'm not really so vocal about. I'm quite a private person. If you know me, you know me. And the reason I'm expressing this on here is because I feel it's the right person to express it to, because you understand that.
Yeah.
I can't speak to everybody about that.
I get it.
They'll just be like, what's my man?
I get it.
Let's talk about the intent too and whatever, or free. And I get all that. That's important as well. But for me, it's just like, when you reached out, for me, like I said earlier on, it's just about, I can sense things, I can pick things up. And I was like, I remember her. And, you know, you always remember how people have an impact on your life when you're younger, when you're older, and what your experience with. And I just remember you always had a smiley face. And
really?
Yeah. And I just remember like
everyone
you and your
says that.
No, you do.
There's times when I feel like, bruh, I thought I had that.
No, you used to always smile. And then for me, it's just like, even when you can't remember someone's name, or like you remember the face.
Yeah.
And it's what the impact they had on you. And this, you know, I thought, why not? Right. And I'm happy I came.
That's a blessing. That's a blessing. I'm just like, we could be here for hours. I'm
a
relaxed.
Chatty, you know, sometimes.
And I was like, I thought you were quiet, you know. Well,
I am. You know,
it's just the right when you feel.
It's who I feel comfortable with.
I get
like,
that.
do you understand?
I get that.
That's really important to me.
So, in all of your things that you're doing, how did you know that it was your purpose?
You know what? It's just like, I said it a bit earlier, it's if it's working and it's working for the right reasons and you feel good when you're doing it and it's impacting other people's lives and there's just there's a vibe, there's a feeling, there's an energy, you can feel that the Holy Spirit working in that atmosphere. Like, I've got in rooms that I just know that I shouldn't be in, and only God could have got me in this room. I've done things with my films, and they've been successful. That in the real world, it should just not work. Yeah. Because we don't have enough money, we don't have the backative. We're just everything's stacked up against us, and it's worked, and it's been successful, and God sustained it for me. And I'm like, even when everyone's walked away and it's just me and my business partner pulling our hair out, you see I got no hair left. God's like, keep going.
Love that.
And for me, your purpose should be something you will do no matter if it's successful or not, and you love doing it.
You know what? I also would add that sometimes purpose is something you would do for free.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Do you know what I mean? Like
I didn't. I just want to make films. I just want to go home and watch my own Home Alone, my Friday.
I love that.
My Love and Basketball.
Do you know what? When you was talking about the love films, I'm like, please, more of those.
I want to have romance.
I want to see.
Yeah, of course. That's
I
important.
want to see a British Love and Basketball. Just a film that is just. Do you know what? I think about Cosby Show, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if
I used to watch the Cosby Show.
The Cosby Show so much. I wanted to be Rudy Huxtable so bad. Like I wanted to be in that family. And I was saying, like, even Fresh Prince, all of these things important, that
but we need our versions. We need our versions.
My kids ain't got none of this.
No, they're coming, man.
Please.
They're in development.
It's so important. I want them to see families where mum and dads love each other. And do you know what I mean?
And that's definitely going to happen. But what I was saying is that the challenges that come against that over here, like America, there's many more black people.
Yeah.
There's many more successful black people because the popularity is more. So there's more people able to facilitate that.
Yes.
So when we're trying to do that here, is you're going up against obstacles, but no obstacles bigger than God.
Thank you.
So as long as we continue asking him to guide us, help us to come over these obstacles, it will happen. These films will happen. And even if it's not me, it'll be the generation after me.
Definitely.
Who will be like, Nikki kicked down that door, Femi kicked down that door.
Love that.
These guys kick down that door, and then we come through. Because sometimes it's not you. Like,
listen, and that's the thing.
And you got to be able to be happy with that as well.
Do you know what? Legacy is what I think of.
Yeah, it's important.
And the other thing I think of is, I remember seeing this on Instagram, and it was the American relay race of the women. And, they're bad.
They're bad.
And my mum used to run. So I remember she used to always... I used to run as well.
Yeah.
So, and she used to teach me how to do the baton so it's smooth.
Yeah.
And this thing on Instagram showed the woman passing the baton on.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. It's about passing that baton on.
And that's a gem there. It's always about...
so important. And we don't do it enough,
We don't, because we're afraid. Like, Jay-Z said something that I was watching. He's like, we were talking about crabs in a bucket. But he's like, crabs are not even meant to be in a bucket.
Yeah.
So like we're everyone's scared of not helping each other, but that's how we grow.
It so is.
If you've invited me, that's a platform, that's somebody who may never have heard of me or might like my story, might like my journey. I don't know what's gonna come from that. I might bless someone might, you've blessed me being here, I've heard things, you've heard things. It's just helping each other grow. And if we don't help each other, how does it grow?
And this, you know what? The other thing, I know I'm not going to get into all of this kind of political thing, but I look at other cultures who do it so well.
They do it amazingly.
And then I look at our culture and I'm like, what is it?
We're broken. There's many generations of pain that has to be healed. And no one's to blame, but it's just about starting to change now. We can dive into everything, what happened and what we've gone through. But for me, I always look forward. I don't forget my past. My past is what makes me. That's my DNA. We know what our parents have gone through, their parents and the generations and generations before that. But it's about now. And when I've got this platform and God's blessed me in this platform, is what I was saying, whose lives am I impacting in any form or way? If like helping them, speaking to them, guiding them, giving them an opportunity, because he didn't just give it to me for me to have. It's not a selfish thing. It's a us thing.
That is purpose.
Yeah, that's purpose. Like the people go and watch my films, they help me. Like the people buy the tickets, the people who speak about it, you bringing me on here, giving me a platform. It's a us thing, and everything I do, I want it to be about us. Will I reap some rewards out of it? Of course.
Yeah.
I want to as well, so my family and everybody else around me can, but the main thing is continuing working as a movement.
Yeah, I love that.
That's the purpose.
I love that. I feel like you've kind of gone on it, but what steps have you taken? So if we were to do a timeline from going back to them days in Leighton when I knew you to now, tell us the steps.
To where I am now?
Yeah.
First of all, like, we're all born with some kind of special thing about us. Every human being, I believe that. I believe God doesn't just, I'll sprinkle him with some talent and I'll forget him or her. I don't think it even works like that.
Yeah.
I think we've all got something that we're good at. You have to find that. First of all, I've always been somebody who's good in that creative thing. If it's from music to DJing to drama to putting on, if you connect them, they're family, they're cousins.
Yep.
So somehow I knew that's my space. It could have been football, it could have been a doctor. I wanted to be a lawyer, to be fair. I thought, because I'm quite argumentative. Back in the day, I was very argumentative, and I thought I'll be someone who could fight someone's case.
Yeah.
But I didn't really know what the process is of what that was to do to become a lawyer. I didn't know what you had to study.
And you're creative.
I was creative, but I didn't, the support mechanism wasn't there, like, you know what I'm saying, studying wise and just keeping my head down and learning, getting the GCSEs and the A-levels and going to the right college and all that stuff in university to get to that. But God did bless me with, like, you know what, you're very creative and you have a creative mind. So the first thing is just to recognize just really what you're good at and work with that skill. That could be anything. It doesn't have to be in the entertainment. It could be random stuff, but figure out what your skill is. Once you figure out your skill, it's just like trying to surround yourself with people who have the similar skills to you. I kind of look at it as the Avengers. You know, like if you look at X-Men, Avengers and all these things, they all got some form of power. They all interlink with one another. That's why they're the Avengers. That's why they're the X-Men. That's why they all come together, because they can't fight that one force by themselves. So I try to find people who's fighting the same force that I'm fighting.
I love that analogy.
Because
that analogy is sick.
I can't be fighting it by myself. So let me team up with the people.
Okay.
So you start moving in the spaces of that you're into. So for me, I was into music. I moved around people who like DJing. My friends were DJs. I have friends who were DJs and who enjoyed music and liked the things. And then that grows and you meet other people that you like and you move in that space. Yeah. Because it's hard to enter something without the right training. You know, and when I mean that, I don't mean technically you have to go to a theatre school or film school, because I didn't study film. I just had the eye and creative and the passion that I'm going to surround myself with the people who knew about this. My business partner, he was an actor, or he's an actor, and he's in a big film, Kidulthood, and he had been on set many a times. I'd been on set a little bit from being in Sylvia Young, and I would ask questions. What does that camera do? What does that do? What does this do? And I'm just soaking it up, and I align myself with people that I respect, and I don't mind being a student. I don't have to be the master. Everyone wants to be the boss. Everyone wants to be, I'm the CEO, I'm this. I don't mind being the student. I'm still a student to the game. I've got many accolades under my belt as making films, TV programs, doing this, doing that. But I'm still a student. Like, me and my business partner, we brought Dame Dash over. And the reason I brought him over is because when I was younger, that's who I looked to. Dame Dash, Jay-Z. And some people will say, he's not popping as much now. Obviously, Jay-Z's the bigger name, the most successful name. Would I love to sit down with Jay-Z? Of course. But they were business partners at a time.
Yes, they were.
So he's got some knowledge that was definitely useful to Jay-Z. And he is still doing amazing things in his own space. As much as it may not be successful as much as what Jay-Z's doing, he may not be a billionaire. But I'm sure he's living a comfortable life. He's doing all the things that he loves. And for me, when I was around him, I was just a student, learning.
Love that.
Learning from some of his mistakes.
Yeah.
You know?
He's imparting his wisdom, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's important that, do you know what? I see other people, I've had friends who've been really successful, gone on to do amazing things. And I've had other friends who've had it for a moment, they had it all, and they've lost it all. Yeah. And I just try to look at everybody's mistakes and say, do you know what? Like, what have I learned from you or her that I need to make sure I don't do the same thing? And when God gives it to me, what am I going to do with it? And as much as when you're at your height of your career, and I don't even think I'm nowhere near at the height of my career. I think God has got so much more to give me and my business partner and the people around me. I think this is just the beginning, but he will look in and be like, okay, I gave Nicky that. How was he moving? Okay, now I'm ready to promote you. And when you're on the way up, there's always a way down, because you never stay up.
This is what I just thought of.
And how was I treating everyone on the way up?
So true.
So you called me to do the podcast, and I'm too busy. It's not whatever. I'm looking down. I'm judging. And then I'm on my way down. Your podcast is on the way up. You're on the way up. You're popping. Oh yeah, can I? Because you got to treat everyone the same. We're all human beings. We're all the same people, no matter how successful we are, no matter what color we are. I try to treat everyone just the same. Like when I step into a room, I'm not just trying to speak to the person who's the main top don, because I've seen it. I've seen interns running companies that I'm trying to get deals from now. But they remember me because I was cool with them.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just relationships.
I think so. That's so important. So relationships are so important.
It's so important. I think that's one of the key skills of my purpose, is to continue growing relationships. My relationships I've got, giving it to other people, and opening the doors for other people, how other people are opening the doors for me. And there's many doors that are not opening, and we're going to kick them down. Or we're going to find another route. And I just think, yeah, that is my purpose. Like, I've been doing it for such a long time. But every day I'm learning something new.
I love that.
Every day I'm learning something new. And it's just to be still in the moment and be disciplined. Like it's a discipline thing, right? It's literally saying, how much do you want this? It's like, do you know what it is? It's like, my pastor used to say to me, read the Bible. It's like, I'll be flickering through Instagram. I'd watch Love Island. I'll watch.
Oh, no, you don't.
No, I do. I watch silly stuff because I'm a creative and I have to see what
I love that.
everybody's doing.
No, I hate you.
Because it's a part of my job to be aware of what is happening in the world, because it'll be silly for me not to know and just go by what other people are telling me. But what I was trying to say is that it's the discipline of learning something myself. Someone can pray for you as much as they want, and there is special things in that. But I've got to learn to pray myself.
Of course.
So for me, I'm like, do you know what? Okay, my schedule's a bit mad, but what I do, anytime I'm in my car, I listen to something that feeds me, feeds my soul. When I go to bed, I play something, I fall asleep. I have it on a timer, it switches off. So as I wake up, I'm fed that. As I'm in my car, I'm fed that. So I'm just watering the plant all the time. And sometimes I say things, I'm like, how did I even know that? But I've listened to it so many times. You know, it's my affirmations. So what you feed yourself like food is what you will be like. So I feed myself things that I know that's going to empower me. Yeah. If it's the word, if it's inspiring people, if it's things that are going to help me on my journey, if it's a podcast that I know that's going to be uplifting, because there's a lot of toxic podcasts. There's a lot of toxic things.
You know, it's so true, you know. And I think what you're touching on is so true. And it's about nourishment. It's enriching yourself. It's like, you know, I always talk about plants, and there's plants in here. Yeah. And like my mum always had plants and I hated them. Yeah. She'd go away and she'd be like, make sure you look after the plant. Yeah. And I'm like, I ain't watering that. Yeah, and then, you know, then she'd be like, you let the plant go, whatever. Yeah. I slowly turned into my mum. So I've got all these plants and there was one, my mum came to my house the other day and there was one that just looked like it just had soil. And she's like, Jay, this plant is dead.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said, Mum, watch and see what's going to happen. I said, I'm watering it. It looks dead, but watch. You know what? The other day, it's about this big now. It's just got this green shoot. So when she comes back, I'm going to show her.
Can't wait to show her.
Look at the thing that you said was dead. And you know what? I feel like it's even, sometimes we write people off.
Yeah.
We think that they don't have anything to give or whatever. And they just need to be watered in the right way.
You need to just speak life into people.
I agree.
And I think it's I can only talk about my journey, but I know what's helped me and I know what's gone against me. And the world is full of fear. And I get it. I'm scared. You sometimes you're scared of this, you're scared of that. You turn on the news, there's this, you turn on that. When I went to LA, like, you watch their TV in America, it's like half an hour of things that just can go wrong to you.
Really?
Like it's just, if you got this, if you got that, this can happen and that can happen, or take this and this and that. And I'm like, switch this off.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I'm just absorbing all this thing. It's just like the whole COVID thing. I knew it was real. I know it's out there. But there's so much fear. The fear was killing us as a nation.
I think that's what was
what killing
helping it to
grow.
grow.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I know you're real. I know there's a serious thing happening. I know people are getting sick. All right, I've heard that. Now I need to look to the word. I need to do all the things that they've told me that I need to do. But I need to not be afraid.
Yeah.
Because, like, you could just end up just dying of being afraid.
I'm telling you. And that is, I think that's probably one of my biggest fears of dying with all of this stuff inside me, of my purpose not being fulfilled.
Yeah, because, and that's, I feel like that as well. Like, you can get so consumed of what's going on in the world, and it can just, like, the battlefield is in the mind. I've got a book called The Battlefield of the Mind. Yeah. Yeah. And I was just like, once you conquer it here, oh my, everything else is done.
Just, you know that emoji with the brain that goes...
Yeah, like, and 99% of the things that I always worry about, it's just never what it is. And it's just the mind, the enemy just, it's this, it's that, or that person thinks this, or that person doesn't like you, or this, or that's not good enough, or you're not good enough, or people are like, and you get consumed by that, and that will just make your heart heavy and your head heavy, and you just gotta be like, no. And that's what I feed myself with, everything that I like and I love, and I look at the things I want, and I dream about the things that I shut my eyes, and I think of the places that made me happy. And I try to go around the people that make me happy and laugh. And if something's too toxic for me, I've learned to remove myself from it.
Totally. You don't hear what I said?
Yeah. It's just like, I couldn't tell you the last time I had an argument. Because...
So true, you know.
At my big age, why am I arguing? If we are both disagreeing on something, I respect your view, I respect my view, our views are not aligning, I see you later. And that's as simple as it. I don't need to get into some back and forth. That's draining. Yeah. That's confusion.
Yeah, no time for that stuff.
No, like, and that's, I keep myself to myself, and I keep my circle small, and that's how I approach life.
That's good.
So when you're saying you see me, and sometimes it can come across rude, and I'm trying to work on that. Like, people smile, people trying to speak to me and stuff like that. I try to give people more time, just because sometimes I can't remember, like, where I actually know you from, because I meet people all the time, and that's not like in a braggish way. It's just in my business, you're forever speaking to people, you're forever connecting with people around the world, and sometimes it's just like, it takes me a minute to think, and then sometimes I just think maybe that person doesn't want to speak to me.
Do you know what? That's happened so many times. But I think, do you know what? I do that sometimes, and I'm like, I see some. I was at the station, and I was like, I swear I know that person.
Yeah.
But you know, like, some of it is from Instagram. And you're like,
and you become familiar. Yeah, you don't know them. And that's another thing that you hit on the nail, because on social media, you feel like you know people.
I'm telling you.
And you don't know them. And you're like, I follow you. I saw you come on my feed or this or that. And it's like, you don't know them.
Yeah,
And it's just like, you feel like you know people when you don't know people.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm just quiet, and sometimes
This was before Instagram anyway. This is going back a
and
little
sometimes
while.
people think your quietness is rude, but sometimes a part of me is shyness as well. And I've learned to, like, over the time, to learn that shyness is fair.
Wow. That was like another mic drop. The last question, which I think you've been doing through the whole time we've been speaking.
Yeah.
But if there's a young man or a young woman at home who is like feeling lost or feeling like they don't know what their purpose is, what advice would you give them?
First of all, I would say to you, don't be hard on yourself. You know, it's not a light bulb. You switch it on and your purpose is found. I think that's the first thing. Everybody's looking at the world and panicking about what they should be doing. I'm not married. I haven't got a kid. I haven't got this. I don't earn 100K a year. I don't. Chill. Chill, because that's just immense pressure that is not coming from God.
Yeah.
You know, I would say for a young person, a young man, a young woman, is what do you like doing? Is this first simple question. And ask yourself, what do I want to be? Because I meet a lot of people and they tell me they don't know what they want to be. I've met people in our age, younger, older, and I'm like, what do you want to do? And they're like, I'm not sure. And then if you're not sure, how are you going to get to the destination?
Yeah.
Because you need to have a bit of, like, God can only help you if you help yourself.
I agree 100%.
We put so much pressure on God. It's not pressure, that's the wrong word. But
yeah. No, it's
like,
true. Yeah, I get.
Like, we're meant to rely on God, but God's like, well, I gave you all the tools to do everything. Do it.
Yeah. So true, you know.
So it's like you're literally waiting on God, but God's waiting on you.
Oh my God. That was actually, I actually had that written in the little, this notebook that I was writing in before I came here. What it said, what if God is waiting for you?
He's waiting on you. Trust me, he's waiting on you. And for the people who don't know their purpose, it's just literally figuring out what you enjoy. Because I feel like you shouldn't do things that you don't enjoy, because it's only going to bring you, you're never going to look for, like, I wake up, I was looking forward to coming here. If I felt, another podcast, I'm tapping out.
That's how I feel when I go work.
No, but if you...
this is... I texted Jernine.
If you feel like at work, it might mean it's time to transition, and you slowly probably are.
I am. I just got kids, so it's not...
No, it's not as easy.
Sometimes I wish that I had this... I had the relationship that I've got with God
earlier
before,
on.
Because fear has been one of my kind of paralyzing things. It's really stopped me from doing things.
Yeah.
And I do think I would have transitioned. I am transitioning, but it's like, sometimes I'm like, God, all right, you've given me these things.
Yeah.
Like I need to, it's almost like I've got to have different, because there's so many things.
Yeah.
Being a mum is a part of my purpose.
Of course, 100%.
I'm raising the next generation. Of course. Do you know what I mean?
And that's important.
Mate.
And that's a mission in itself.
Teenagers.
Exactly. So it's like, but one thing you got to look at, how I would, like, you're always where you're meant to be when you're meant to be there. God's put you there.
I agree.
At that time. So you're saying, oh, maybe my transition, or if I had earlier, but maybe earlier you may not have your kids, or maybe this.
So true.
Like, you know? Everything changes.
Yeah.
Because I look back at things and think, there's a film. It's a really good film. People should watch it, The Butterfly Effect. And I'll quickly just go through it. It's a really good film. Everyone should watch it. It's about a guy, his girlfriend passed away, but he went back and he was able to stop her from passing away. But when he stopped her, the future changed. Yes. Everything changed because of that one moment. Yeah. He changed everything.
Yeah.
And
that
for
just
me,
gave me goosebumps.
So for me, I've been through some pain and through things, and I'm like, why did I go through this? Like, I hated it. Every second of it. There's not one part of it I liked. It was the darkest moments of my life. I hated it. I was lost. I just didn't know. But if I didn't go through that pain, the Nicky you're speaking to right now may never be that. I might be somewhere else doing something more like, so there's always something out of something. And I know it sounds like I'm preaching. I know it sounds like it's easy to say when you're in that situation, but we've all been there. But you got to have that light. You know, the way I always look at things is like when you're driving your car, your light bulbs in the dark, they only see like a couple of centimeters ahead.
Yeah.
But you get through the road because the car's got the light and you get to your destination. You switch your lights off, the road's black. You're like, switch my, you're like panicking. But for me, that's how I look at the faith. That little light, it only needs to be a little bit to push you forward. So for me, when I'm fearing things or worrying about things, I just confront it a little bit. I confront it. And it might be just 1-2 steps of little confronting it, but it's 1-2 steps that I didn't do.
Yeah. And
I think everybody who's trying to find their purpose, it's just confronting whatever you're facing or you're worried about and getting out of bed. You're alive.
So true, you know.
You're actually alive. Do you know how lit it is to be alive? Do you know how lit it is to be here now, 2023? So do you know how much of a blessing that is? I've got no time not to be finding my purpose.
It's so true.
Because God gave me breath. I'm alive. I'm here. I can talk. I can walk. And he's gave me another day on this earth. And I'm going to appreciate it. And I'm going to do as much. So when I do meet God, God's going to be like, boy, you really took advantage of the time I gave you. Because I was not playing about with it. Like when people are like not traveling or not getting up, or they're not doing the course they wanted to always do, or they're not applying for that job that they wanted to apply for, or they're not breaking up from that partner that they wanted to break up from. I'm like, do you know what? Life is too short for me.
Don't say life is too short.
Okay, you're right. You're right. Life
is long, so you can't stay with that partner that you don't like.
Life is too long for you to be in something, and that's good. You corrected me. Life is too long for you to not be wasting time.
Yeah. Did you not feel like lockdown did a lot of that? Like,
yeah, lockdown was just like, it was such a bizarre time for lockdown. For me, I was just like, it was like the whole process. Do you know who I think about the most about lockdown is the kids. How are they gonna look back at it in 10 to 15 years time? I want to see the lockdown kids in 15, 20 years, because we talk about us as adults. They went through it.
Yeah. But do you know what? For me, being a parent of lockdown kids, I can see the remnants and the effect. And I don't necessarily mean it in a positive way.
Yeah. Like
emotionally and mentally, I feel like...
That's what I'm talking,
Yeah. There's been... The thing for me though, I'm seeing those things, and maybe because I'm so open. Like I've had counselling, I've done counselling courses. It was always something like when you were talking about that course that you always wanted to do. From since I think 2009, I wanted to do counselling. Then I had my daughter, and things happened, and then I came back to it because it just kept finding me. The counselling, did the course, and I learnt so much. And for me, I feel like I'm changing the kind of the generational cycle of how our culture see therapy and speaking to somebody. Because I always spoke openly to my kids.
Of course.
This is what mummy's had she's been through a lot, and this is, I'm going to, speaking
and that's
to this
important.
lady. So now to say to my daughter who's 15 and she's been struggling with some things, I'm like, come, let's, we'll get
as black people, we're meant to be strong.
Yeah, listen.
As
that
black women,
has caused too much problems for me. I'm telling you.
As black women, you lot are the saviors of everything.
Really?
You're meant to be strong.
My name isn't Jesus.
I know, but I completely understand where you're coming from, and our culture and our where we come from is that it's changing now. Before going to therapy, counselling, what's wrong? You're weak, you're this, you're that.
Or you got mental health or whatever,
and it's like, okay, if I'm suffering from mental health, let me go and get help.
That's what you do.
Why am I suffering?
Yeah. If you're broken, if your bone is broken,
You go to the hospital
Do you
and
understand
they
what I'm
put a
saying?
cot and they fix you. But it's the what's the word I'm looking for? It's the thing that's around it that people looking at, oh, let's not talk about that. Let's not.
there's a stigma.
That's stigma. That's the
Yeah.
word I was looking for. The stigma around it in the Black community that people suffering mental health. And I believe every person in life goes through mental health at some point of their life. To what scale is all different. It's all about the support mechanism, the things you do. And that's just a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, it
But,
sure is.
but I think it's important that we speak about therapy. We have these conversations.
Yeah, definitely.
And people can see yourself, me, people like themselves. Oh, they went through that. Okay, my man believes. Oh, you know what? Like I went through this, and you know, it's important because the thing is, before I wouldn't speak about stuff like this because I would have been embarrassed.
Yeah. But you're your authentic self, Nicky. That's what, even since the last time I saw you, not that I've, like, we didn't know each other. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, of
but
course.
even my last, and I'm trying to remember when, I remember it was about 2015 or 16.
Yeah.
Just a little, the West Indies that I used to go to because I worked in that area. And I can see your growth.
Yeah.
And I don't know you.
Yeah.
But even in the way that you're speaking compared to when I spoke to you then is different.
Because to be fair, the times you're saying, I had the whole world
On your shoulders.
I showed.
Really?
Yeah, because if I'm thinking 2015, 14 to 16, they were hard years. Because their years, 2013 and 14 is when I released my first film.
Okay.
Came out, who said, like, I call it a success now because I learned so much. God taught me so much, but to the public, it's a flop. To the business, it didn't make great money and didn't do things. So I was transitioning, trying to find my way. So there's a lot of pressure on me, and I'm learning the business, and I'm just trying to figure out my life. So sometimes you're meeting people, and you're just heavy.
Look at that, and I never knew that.
You're heavy-headed. You're probably like dealing with. Because the thing is as well, at those times when we're making the film, me and my business partner, other people's dreams are reliant on your dreams. So the actors in it and everybody who's participated in it is relying on this to launch them.
Yeah. That's deep, you know.
So if it's a failure, you failed them.
Yeah, but it's not a failure.
I know it's not. I'm not saying no. It's a super success.
I know.
Everything about it was a super success, but because I was looking at success in the wrong way, I'm looking at it as a financial thing. I'm going to be this. It's going to change my life. I'm going to be a superstar. I'm looking for all the wrong things.
But that's maybe why God kept it away from you at that point, because you weren't even ready for that.
Never ready.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Like,
would you have embraced it? Would you have been blessing other people?
I wouldn't change this
maybe he felt you weren't humble enough.
I wouldn't have changed my journey for anything. And I honestly mean that. You know, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus. We went to a meeting the other day with a big channel, and we was pitching them ideas for a TV channel, and the guy actually, when he was saying this stuff to us, was actually trying. He wants us to get into the building. He loves what we do. He respects our work, and he's just saying, you got to do this to get in this building. Otherwise, you're not going to be heard, and you need to look like this. And he's like, listen, guys, the next time you come, put on a suit, put on the shoes, be dressed like this, blah blah blah. And
really,
in this day and age, this meeting happened this week, and we left. And I thought to myself, we still have to conform to what other people want, you know? And I just thought, I'm on the right path. What I'm doing, the business ideas I've got, the things I'm doing, he confirmed to me that, and he didn't even mean it in a bad way. He's actually my good friend. He's a friend that is really trying to help us. But he's only trying to tell us what he knew what he had to do to get into that building. But when he was speaking to me, it just didn't resonate to me and my business partner. And I just thought, you know what? there'll be a time when I can walk into that building, no matter how I am and what I'm wearing or how I'm speaking and they just would respect what we do, and I'll wait until then.
And you know what? That's everything. And that's what I'm saying about you and the growth that I've seen, even in the time that since I last saw you. And it's something that is my superpower now, is being authentic.
Yeah.
Showing up as myself. There's a couple of weeks ago, we went to a new church and I was getting dressed and I was putting on and I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
This ain't me.
And church used to be about that. You put on your best frock.
Listen,
you put on your
I'm
best
not.
Gown,
Do you think...
you go to how God accepts you wherever you are. Obviously, if you make sure you wash, you smell fresh.
Of course.
And you enter respectfully.
And you ain't got your batty riders on.
Yeah, but we come how...
Yeah, as you are. Definitely,
you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
We just can't be in that space anymore of conforming to other people and being what other people want us to be.
Definitely.
You know?
If God is happy with me, then I'm happy.
I'm a black man and that's who I am. And I'm not going to water down who I am or dim my light.
I love that.
Because you're afraid of it.
Yep. Shine it brightly.
I'm gonna shine it. I've probably messed up deals before because of my mouth. Like the person saying stuff to me, I'm just like, no, we're worth this, or you don't believe in this. And
I like that. I need to get more.
It's just you've got to be a bit bold. Always be respectful. You know, I would never say to be arrogant or be rude to people, but just learn to. You know, another thing is learn to say no, because not every deal is the best deal. And not every opportunity is the right opportunity.
I agree. That's why it's important to pray as well.
Yeah, I'm saying, yeah.
Because sometimes these things will be put in front of you.
Yeah.
And you think, that's it. That's the thing that I need to go for. And then it's not.
Definitely.
So I get it. And I think God's timing has been another thing that I've learned is a real blessing as well. Because sometimes we want things to happen now and he's still preparing us.
Yeah. No, 100%. It's like, I've tried to train a little bit more and get a little bit disciplined in my training. I'm like, I want an 8-pack, I want this. I'm like, you go gym 2 times, you look in the mirror and it's not there. And I'm like, brother, chill out. Like, you need to this might all take you 6 months, a year, 2 years. Like, I know people's dieting, they're disciplined. And it's like, I always say to everybody, it's just important to have a form of discipline and routine in your life. Routine's important as well because it brings structure.
Yeah.
And I would say to any young person, or not in young, but just anyone who's trying to achieve something or go to their goals or just bring routine into their life. And routine's just good for your mental health.
I agree.
You know, because I felt I'm at my peace the most when I have a routine.
Yes.
And that's just like, and it doesn't have to be work-wise. I've just been getting up. I'm going to read for 30 minutes. I'm going to pray. After that, I'm going to have my shower. I'm going to have some breakfast. I'm going to go for a walk. Or I'm going to apply for these jobs. Like, routine.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the gym later on tonight. You know, I'm going to try and be in bed by 8, 10, or whatever your time is. And try and bring routine and discipline. And I'm guaranteed you'll see a massive change in your life.
I agree. I think that's an amazing way to round off. I just think there's been so many. I like to go back and watch it.
Yeah.
Because
Thank you for
sometimes when you're talking,
I know
you miss it.
It's like, do you know what you're talking about? This feels a bit like therapy.
Does it?
Yeah, because you're letting off stuff that probably is inside of you, and you don't always
have the.
And this is a fresh conversation, you know. Like, I feel that why I knew this would be special because it's completely different from other podcasts I do.
Well, we are...
Stay in your space. This is a good space.
This is my lane.
This is your lane.
Because it's God's lane.
Yeah,
and
it's important.
Every time I come here, I say the same thing. This platform is about glorifying God. Yeah. And it's about, you know, not all everybody I speak to, it goes this way. No. Everyone's got their own way of, you know. But for me, the reason that I'm sitting here is because this is God's platform. Yeah. And he's using me as his vessel, and I'm just listening and doing what he's asking me to do, and whatever he does with it.
No, it's important, you know, because I feel like I didn't like look into it and pre it as much, and I didn't overthink it. And it's like God just guided me here, and look, we've had an amazing conversation. So thank you for having me.
Thank you
appreciate
for
it.
coming. Thank you for coming. And just keep doing it. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep showing up as your authentic self.
Keep praying for us. Pray for
We
everyone.
will. Because, you know, like, I remember when The Intent came out, because it was like, Nicky's got a film. Like, phone my brother, you know, Nicky from da-da-da-da-da. Because your win is my win.
No,
like,
really
seriously, that's how I am.
Yeah.
I've gone to London Lions twice.
Yeah.
Right? And I've been to basketball in America and stuff like that. And my children play football.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I think my friend texted me, they've got these tickets, whatever. We went. And I sat down and I'm telling you, like, I don't even know what your mum feels like, but this level, this sense of pride completely filled me.
No, thank you.
And you know what was beautiful to see? The different Black families.
Yeah, no, it's important.
You don't see that in football, because my husband has taken my son to football. My son supports Arsenal. So he went to see Arsenal play West Ham, and he said it was totally different. Yeah. It was very white. It's very like moving towards middle class, you know, because of the price of the tickets as well. But
it's expensive.
You've made that really accessible.
No, I think it's important. I think like we didn't really touch on that, but before we wrap up, I just think the opportunity came to me and my business partner. We shot a commercial for them, and they gave us that creativity in that time, and then the opportunity came that we could be shareholders, and we was like at that time I loved basketball as a kid, and obviously it's not a huge sport here like the NBA. But I think it can be. And I just think, you know, they need to tap into certain cultures, and it needs to be accessible. And they could see that in me and Femi, and the business is being great. And it's gone from strength to strength in a year and a half. You know, the place wasn't really that packed before. Every game is practically sold out.
Love that.
We've got celebrities coming, you know, we've had some big names at the games, and it's a family thing. And
that's what I love.
And I'm from East London, the Copper Box. It just all made sense. I'm a London boy, and I'm just like, you know what, I need to be a part of this. And it's just like you said, it's just finding your purpose. And who would have thought I'd be involved in a basketball team? That's just God. That's just literally God saying, here, I want to give you this. You're going to be a part of this, and you'll be here for, and he may decide to take me somewhere else, and I'm open to that. But for now, we're supporting the London Lions. I love them, what they're doing for the culture and what they're doing and bringing, and it's important.
Definitely. You know? So it was watching my 8-year-old son.
Yeah. No.
Like, seriously. And you know what? The other thing is, I've got a 15-year-old, a 13-year-old, and an 8-year-old. Yeah. So sometimes the 8-year-old stuff, the 15-year-old don't want to do. It was the first time in a long time that the 5 of us have gone out, and you all wanted to do the same thing. Everybody enjoyed it. My 15-year-old who don't like nothing.
It is such an amazing time out. It's so fun. It is. It's high energy.
Love it.
You know, and it's going to get bigger and bigger. And like I said, you're always welcome to come. Just hit me up. Get you guys some courtside seats and stuff, and it's a great experience. And if you haven't been to a London Lions game, you need to get down there.
Yes, you do.
We're at the Copper Box. That's our home. You know, we've got OV playing. OV was in Love Island as well, but he's a great basketball player. He's a lovely guy, and like I just think all these things that are happening I'm very grateful for. It's just blessings after blessings.
That's it. And the more you're grateful, the more blessings that will keep chasing you.
Yeah, no, definitely. And calm down, London Lions.
Thank you, Nicky.
Thank you for having me.
Deeply.
No, thank you. It's been a good conversation.
It's been like, I don't know. This one has hit differently, seriously.
We've both learned a lot from it.
We have, definitely.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Okay, take care.
Right. I'll be back with a new guest in a few weeks' time. Keep sharing, keep liking, and we'll be back soon.